So in this exercise, we're going to have a look at image trace in Affinity version 3 and how to use the image trace tool. This is not an in-depth tutorial, but I'll show you how to use it and what you can get out of it and what to expect from it. And I've got the image up here that we're going to start with. What a lovely picture that is. A nice clean image. Remember, to start out, try and use images that are plain colour, if you like, black and white images even, something like that. Just let me bring something up here and start with black and white or high contrast images. They usually trace cleaner. For colour graphics, experiment with settings and clean up nodes after tracing. If you need advanced tracing beyond what Affinity does, tools like Inkscape's Trace Bitmap, free open source, can also export vectors you then refine in Affinity. As simple as that. Okay, now let's have a look at how we turn this into a vector image. Now you can see over here I've got layers and they're all turned on, and that one there is the top one. Let's turn that off, turn that off, turn that off. There's the original image I'm using. I've got it locked because I've duplicated it all the way up here. Now if you're going to turn something into a bitmap, a vector, it has to start out rasterized in this case. You can see that little symbol there. It shows you that that image has been rasterized because the original image down here has the image icon and it's not rasterized. That one there is. It's pixel. It's not image. That one there's a group because they're both rasterized, and I'll come to that. So you start with that image, or start with your image, and the first thing you do is right click on it and duplicate it. Simple as that. Let's have a look. Duplicate. There it is. There's the duplicate image. Now it's still an image. So what we've got to do is right click and rasterize. Now you can see it's changed there to a raster image. Now let's just pause there and take that in. Now continuing right along, what I might do is get rid of these images, these layers, because we don't need them. I want to show you a clean exercise. Now there's the locked original layer, the background image. That's locked. We can turn that off even. We're just using that one. Now this has got a lot of clean black lines in it. You can see that. But what we probably don't want is all that. Now one of the reasons for creating an SVG file or a vector file out of a bitmap file is because you can make it any size you want once it's a vector file. Now let me show you what I mean by that. If we go up here, we're going to take our rasterized image and start the process to convert it to image trace it. So you go up to vector. You'll notice I'm in pixel, I'm not in vector. But you just go up to pixel, go down to image trace. You don't have to be in the vector panel to do this. You can do it in pixel. Go to image trace and click on image trace. That's all there is to it there. Now you've got this panel here, and you can see here the center option is the split view. So let's turn on split view. That has got a before and an after. You're just using the edge threshold and the curve fitting tolerances. So let's just move that across there to where the people are. Now you can see before and after. You'll notice there are some changes, very subtle there. But let's have a look at that. That's before, where we know it's a pixel file. And what we want to do is enlarge it. You'll notice how it starts to pixelate. Over here, this is the before side. That's very, very pixelated. Let's go over that. Now, once it's been converted, once it's been image traced, all those pixels disappear. Look at that nice clean line there up the center where the line is, the black line. The black pretty much disappears. Now, that's a function of edge threshold and curve fitting tolerances. I thoroughly recommend you experiment with those to find out what the best thing is. Edge threshold, 50%. Let's bump that down to 20%, and you can see you've still got the black line there. So that's not too bad. Whereas at 50%, that's smudged right out. Now, curve fitting tolerance is the other option. We can experiment with that and make that 25. That smooths out curves. So if you've got right angles on something, you're going to end up with slightly rounded right angles. Now see that there? That's what it looks like after it's rasterized. But you'll notice there's no pixelation. That's because that side of it is a vector file. So let's take that back down so we can see what we're doing. And we'll just leave that there. And that looks pretty good there because we've got a black line there and we've still got a black line there. So it's, with those settings, it's actually making quite a clean version of it. Now, the rest of it is really simple. We apply this, and there it is. That's now a vector file. And you can see there's all the vectors. Now, there's lots and lots of vectors in there. Thousands. Because every little element in that image is now a vector, and it goes all the way down to there. What I like to do is highlight them all and group them. Oh, there's too many of them. It takes a while. If you've got a really seriously big image there, I should have just done that. I should have just done Command G and it will group them. So you haven't got them all spread out across the layers panel. That one's still off. That one's on. And you can see that if I move that to there, enlarge that really big, it's still not pixelated. Now that's quite a complex image to be working with. I would seriously suggest that you use a much simpler image to start with, but then the choice is yours. And what you've got there is an image that you can trace around. Now that's the other thing I want to show you with this. Oops, I just moved it off center. There we go. Let's just touch that there. What we've got there is a vector file now, so I can file, I can export that as an SVG file. For export, that'll do. I don't want to mess around in there. Digital, high quality, small, or flatten. No, just export it, because I just want to save it somewhere. Export man-woman trace tutorial, we'll call it A, so that we save it. I'll save it in pictures. And that's that. Now, I'll turn that one off and turn that one on again, the original, because what I want to do is duplicate it again. Here we go, we've got a duplicate. That's back right where we started. Now, let's enlarge that a little bit, so it's a bit easier to work with. Oh, keep moving it off its canvas. There we go. Because what I want to do with this is select all that. So I'll go to Vector. Is it Vector? No. Pixel. There it is. Object Selection Tool. Selection Brush Tool. I'm still getting used to these new icons myself, the new tool symbols. Now, I've got a 10 pixel width brush there. Let's increase that to 20. The mode is Add Mode. Now, don't be tempted to make that brush too big because it'll very quickly flow over the side. Just be careful as you're going around here that you don't slip and end up selecting everything else, because what we actually want, which will make life a bit simpler, is just the man and the woman here, because I want to take them out, use them in a postcard or another piece of work that I'm doing. Now you can see it's overflowing the sides there, but I'll come back in a moment and fix that. Make sure I've got the girl's nose and her eyes and her hat. There we go, up on the hat. Down the side, down her arm. There we go. There we go. Okay, now that's almost selected. Now I don't want to use the refine tool yet, because what I want to do is move that back down to about 8 pixels and go in here and remove some of those gaps. And that just does it. Be careful not to brush, otherwise you'll select too much. You've got the little point in the middle of my big yellow circle there, and you can see how neatly that's selecting them out. Just delete that bit there. Up around the sides, around the boundary. Across his nose and his chin. That's not too bad. Remember that when you get this finished, you can always take your finished example and do something with it. You can clean it up. Now that's refined it. What it's done is selected just the man and the woman there, and it's cut out effectively the background. Now how you get just those two, a new decontaminated layer. Now why anybody selected that as a word for it, I don't know. Decontaminated sounds dreadful. What it means is there's no color incursions on that. But because of the nature of this image, I'm going to have some overrun around the side. But as I say, you can come back and fix that. That'll be those little things down there. And there's a couple up in there. But never mind what we want to do, because this will create a new layer here. So that selected object will be on a new layer, all of its own. So let's apply that. And there they are. Now there's a little bit of rubbish there that I said, as I just mentioned, but you can clean that up with your brush and brush it out and end up with a clean. Now there it is there. Now if you like, you can copy that. You can even make new from a clipboard. There you go. You can make a completely new image from that. Isn't that wonderful? There's the one we were working on. There's the original image just behind it. And of course that's the base image. but there's the original image, and we selected out just that part. Marvellous. Okay, well, that's it for, I think, for this little introduction on using the Affinity version 3 image trace tool. Very clever piece of work. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, and I'll see you again in the next little video.